Hey fam. Um, Life isn't easy. And I think it's time that we kind of talk about this. So, right now there's just some stuff on my chest and I just opened up my computer and just hit record right now. So, I've been doing some journaling and I'm gonna look at my notes a couple times. It doesn't need to be a perfect video or anything like that by any means. But yeah, so today is June 17th, 2025. Yesterday, the 16th was an interesting day. I got a lot of news, a lot of things, that just kind of like hit me all at once yesterday. And it just reminded me why I practice gratitude. All right. So practicing gratitude can change everything. And we all face moments in life where the world feels a little heavy. Sometimes people let you down. Sometimes things don't go the way that we hoped. Sometimes there's setbacks. Sometimes there's death. Sometimes there's, perspective shifts. And I've had plenty of those days. And one thing about like my role at work, I get to hear everybody's challenges, everybody's problems. And yesterday I got a lot of them, and people react all different types of ways, and it was really interesting. And then I popped on my social media, and then I was like, oh shoot, a former colleague that I really admired and looked up to passed away. Then another colleague of mine, like might not be able to walk again because of an accident. And, and then, talking with my wife about, challenges at her job, me talking about challenges at my job. It's just it made me stop for a full, like, you know, few minutes, maybe even an hour, and just kind of like think and just appreciate all the daily things that we are blessed to have. And this is something I practice with my team, and I work with a lot of young people, so I don't know if everybody quite understands it yet. But before we start any meeting or event, usually I have somebody share something that they're grateful for, and things that are positive in their life. So like I said, gratitude can change a lot. I'm not talking about pretending everything's fine. I'm talking about learning to notice what is still good, even when things aren't perfect, because when life does feel dark, even having the smallest bit of light can guide you through. And that light for me has often been gratitude. Um, you know, I was telling my wife this. There was a incident at work, and I'm like, dude, aren't you so glad you can complain about your job? Like that you have a job and you have a family to come home to like share about it and all that great stuff. I always think about like, I'm super lucky in my line of work where I can work from home some of the days and then, be able to travel and do these things. So when it does get tough, it's always nice to focus on that stuff. So I choose to focus on what I do have, not necessarily all the things that I don't, and what I can build and who I can become. And something I always tell people that I manage is focus on the controllables. There's a lot of things, unfortunately, we just can't control. Death is one of those things, unfortunate events, but there's a lot of things that you that are really out of your control. So I choose to be positive, not because it's always good, but because, I realized I get to decide how I show up. And even in the hardest times, and it's also, I think it's important, it's like how you show up with your loved ones and the people around you. And there's always somebody watching, whether whether you think you're a role model or not, there's somebody looking up to you. And that's something that kids have taught me. They're always watching, they're always watching. So I want to choose to be positive in front of them. Gratitude, it won't erase the pain, but it does reframe it. And it reminds us that even in chaos, there's still beauty. Even in loss, there's still love. And even in failure, there's still growth. All right. So if you're going through something right now and you're watching this and hopefully you made it this far, but it's okay if you didn't. But if you're going through something, just know like there's a lot of people that love you out there. There's a lot of people that really appreciate your efforts. And it's tough. It's tough for me to be vulnerable with stuff like this because for those of you guys that know me and like, I don't say too much about like sensitive things like this. And I'm sure most of you guys that know me usually see me in good spirits. So I just wanted to make this. It was something that was on my heart, something I was journaling about, and tough times don't last, but grateful hearts do. And if somebody needs to hear this, please send it to them. Stay strong, stay thankful, and God bless everybody. All right, take care.